Tech here. So we are in the middle of the summer, and I think it's time to talk to you guys about winter gear. Why do I say that? Because normally you should be buying winter gear right now. There are two major times that you should buy winter gear: is after the winter season and during the summer season. Why do I say that? Because most brands will have discontinued products, will have major sales because it's off-season gear, and you can get great gear cheaper that does everything you want. So that's my tip for you. Now, besides that, what you should look for. First of all, you need to assess what kind of riding you are going to do. If you're going to do off-season like fall and maybe a little bit of winter, you will probably don't need anything heavy duty. But if you plan on riding in winter and in wet conditions, then you probably will need something heavy duty. So let's start first by talking about rain shells. And why do I talk about them first? You can use them every time of the year, every time it rains, but they offer one of the biggest improvements you can have in any winter gear, and that's windproofing. Besides the waterproofing, a rain shell, it's like those overalls or full suits that you buy that are little layers of some kind of plastic. Normally they are made of nylon, stuff like that, and they just stop the rain. If you want to have if you have waterproof gear that is a little bit old, you should buy a rain shell, because they are cheaper to replace when they start leaking, and eventually they will start leaking, but they offer an extra protection, and the majority of the gear is it's waterproof until a certain point. Look for that in the specifications. They normally specify an amount of water per square inch, something like that. Normally that's measured like with a column of water on that piece of fabric, and that's how they get that metric. So if it rains really heavy, the only thing is layers and waterproof layers, because when one of the layers is breached, you have another layer to keep you dry. So, and that's a great segue. The most important thing besides keeping dry and keeping the wind out in the winter is keeping warm, and you may keep warm using layers. What kind of layers should you get? There's one that most people are familiar with for the tracksuits that wicks moisture away. There's a version of that's basically the same thing, but it keeps you warm. I have a moto pair of that, and I have one that was bought that's like for running or stuff like that in the winter. They work basically the same. The only difference is that the motorcycle one was more expensive. So look for bargains in the winter sports section of your local sports store. Most of the gear will not make a difference in this case. It's an inner layer, so your mileage may vary. Try things out. After that, there's middle layers. That's something that exists on some jackets. Some technical jackets have middle layers. You can also do it yourself. Put on a hoodie, a heavy sweater. That's up to you. and basically if you have a lower layer and you don't have wind entering your jacket, you will probably be okay in most moderate climates. Only if you are doing stuff in a more cold climate, will you need a middle layer, but that's up to you. It depends how cold sensitive you are. And that's it. Then you have the outer jacket, and in the outer jacket I will talk to you guys about two major difference. So there's something called Gore-Tex. Gore-Tex is an independent brand. They do waterproof liners. They have a patent technology, and they are expensive. Then there's the other brand's Gore-Tex, and I say it that way because it's almost the same thing. They use similar methods, but they are not certified Gore-Tex, and because of that, they are cheaper. Myself, I have a pair of gloves that are Gore-Tex. And they are awesome. They are so awesome that if you put it outside of the jacket, as I did, and you stopped, they will basically function like water bags, because you will have water go inside them and stay inside them. So the way you layer up, it's also important. Be advised that if you want to stay dry, you should pay attention how you put your gear on. Otherwise, it will seep inside the seams. So back to Gore-Tex and non-Gore-Tex. For example, I have a Dry Stars jacket from Alpine Stars. That's the Alpine Stars one. So basically, that I did some rain riding with that jacket, and the first thing I should mention is that jacket is for light spring rains, nothing heavy duty, because it started to seep water in the middle almost immediately by the central zipper, because the central zipper is not a waterproof zipper, and that's another thing that you guys should look for when buying gear. Look for stuff with waterproof zippers, with everything as it should be, because every little cranny will have water, especially if you are in a heavy rain. So that's why I also recommend get a waterproof jacket, get a rain shell, and always in heavy rain put on the rain shell. That way you will stay dry. And that's it. Basically, you should look for Gore-Tex because it's better waterproof, it's certified, it's more expensive, and that's why the reason that you should buy winter gear in off season. You basically get Gore-Tex gear for the same price as the non-Gore-Tex gear in season. So basically try to get bargains in here. At the moment I don't have trousers that are Gore-Tex or stuff like that. I just have some jeans with Kevlar and stuff like that, and I basically just put a rain shell over the jeans. I find that I don't the jeans so I don't have a lot of cold sensitive on my legs. I'm more sensitive on my ankles, and that's the thing. You should pay attention to your extremities, because if you have a numb foot and you put it down on the winter, you will go down. The same is true for a leg that doesn't work because of the cold, but I find myself having more trouble with cold ankles and stuff like that than the legs. So basically, I have winter boots that are basically waterproof boots. Some, I think it's TCX Street Aces waterproof, something like that. They are nothing special, though. They are urban shoes, but they keep up with the water. Already rode on the rain, and I can attest for their waterproofness. And they also keep you dry, and they keep the wind away. So in the winter, you just put some warm socks, and you are good to go. For the hands, as I mentioned, I have a pair of Gore-Tex gloves. I also have some like silk gloves that I put inside the glove to keep me warm, because the winter will freeze the outer layer of the glove, and you will feel it. So I have 2 pairs of gloves to insulate it better. But nothing beats the heated grips for winter riding. In terms of waterproofness, as I said, the gloves work great. So great that if some water gets inside them, it will stay inside them. So keep that in mind. And that's it. Sorry for the long-winded explanation, but I hope I could help you guys. Please leave a comment, and see ya.